it's wild because completely independently of our relationship inside my crypto and DeFi academy, like literally I just kicked off my class, my 4-week class, and they're buying Nano Ledger X's to set up their hot wallets. By module 4, they'll be buying a call option on Ethereum on Deribit. And it's just wild. I mean, we've had Yatsu from Animoca Brands on here. It's just wild how your investments are, they literally are key infrastructure in this entire ecosystem. And that's just me choosing the right things for my students to use, and it happened to be your investment. So I don't think there's a coincidence there. I think you looked at those things and chose, and like you said, you're the only one doing that in this space.
Well, I was, it's like a blue chip strategy in a way. I mean, the difference really is that, I don't know, I seem to be the only guy out there who thinks that there are blue chips in the digital asset ecosystem. I mean, these are companies in some cases making hundreds of millions of dollars of revenue. A company like Animoca made more revenue in 22 than in 21. If you can, think about that for a second, you had a massive bear phase in the cryptocurrency markets. And here's a company that actually did better during the bear phase. And we have actually 5 or 6 companies that did better in 22 to 21. So that really helps the portfolio. Obviously, the exchanges were all marked down 30 to 40%, and in some cases more. But when you have a portfolio, I think that, and then a portfolio that's seeking to get exposure to the entire space, not the whole space is dictated by the price of Bitcoin and Ethereum. And I think if there's one important thing, and you noted before we were chatting that, I was just on another podcast, and if there's one thing that I am trying to do now is a little bit is change the narrative with people. In the US, the regulatory rhetoric has gotten, very negative. But then all of a sudden in the UK and Hong Kong, Singapore, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, the interest has picked up. And, that Paris meet that we did was the end of a 1-month-long trip that I'd done. And, changing the narrative, really to let people know that there are a lot of things going on in this space. I call them sort of subsector activity. And that subsector activity did not exist at the end of the previous bear in 18, early 19. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about, there was no DeFi, 2.5, 3 years ago. Today, you've got 50 billion TVL or whatever the number is. Last year, you had $8 trillion of stable coins settled. Okay, that's in a bear phase. That hit an all-time high. 3 years ago, there were no stable coins. You've got a massive NFT market that, despite the ups and downs, I think is thriving, did not exist 3 years ago. And so when I say, when you mentioned earlier in the podcast, the 10 trillion and the 20 trillion number, that's 10 trillion is what I call would be the value of the digital asset ecosystem, which is the value of all the cryptocurrencies and all the equity in the space. And when I had the idea for my first 3 funds, 10T, that was about 300 billion. And today we're at 1.7 trillion. The high was 3.2 trillion. But just think, we're still up over, 5 times in 3 years. Like, how many people have assets in their portfolio, certainly that big, that go from 300 billion to 1.7 trillion? And I think it's bottomed out. And during the next bull phase, which I think to really pick up momentum in the second half of 24, 25, I think we're going to be punching up certainly over 5 trillion in terms of the total value. The idea for 10T was that we were going to hit 10 trillion in 10 years. And I just simply wanted to, have that marked somewhere. So I put it in the name of my fund. So that people wouldn't think that, me calling for a 30x in the value of this ecosystem in 10 years, is a bit nutty. I don't recall ever doing that myself in any other asset or asset class. But it just seemed sort of reasonable. But now as we get there are all these new areas that are growing up that I couldn't even imagine 3 years ago. I mean, look, you have a DeFi Academy that could never have didn't exist 3-4 years ago. And so, that's the difficult thing in this space, is to try to see beyond the outer perimeter. And we look to invest in CEOs that have the ability to pivot to that unknown. I think it's a very difficult thing. But you mentioned Animoca. I think someone like Yat has that ability. Pascal at Ledger, I think, has shown that ability. The twins at Gemini also, I think their purchase of Nifty Gateway was very prescient. I see that they're going to be doing some innovative things in the future as well. So, we try to pick established companies that are making, big chunks of revenue, because they have the flexibility to take that risk and, add that business line, buy that small company that could be building the future. And it's a future that we're not even really sure about. So it's a little bit tricky. We have a pretty big venture component embedded within these more established companies. And so we get a little bit of that extra venture kick, but I don't feel like we have the risk, that having just straight out venture bets, that you have.
So Jim Rickards has just recorded a video that's not available to anyone in the public, and he's going to be talking about how this upcoming recession is going to be fast, it's going to be bloody, it's going to be nasty. But at the same time, he's going to show you how you can position yourself to profit from all of this chaos. Now, we've made this video only available to our viewers. Go to londonreal.tv/Jim. Watch that immediately. I can't say enough good things about Jim Rickards. He understands the global economic system better than any guest I've ever had on London Real. His predictions are almost uncannily true, and you can learn how to profit from his vision, from his expertise, and his understanding of economics. So go to londonreal.tv/Jim or click the link below. It's an excellent, excellent look on what's going to happen in the future and how you can position yourself to profit from that. Jim is one of the best in the business, one of my favorite guests on London Real, and he's very, very good at predicting the future and showing us all to profit from it. So click the link, and I hope you enjoy. The greedy bankers are about to do it again. In 2008, they crashed our financial system and nearly bankrupted the entire global economy. Then they received trillions of dollars in government bailouts. And after, they demanded fat bonuses paid for by you, the taxpayer.
It turns out the banks haven't just been screwing the American taxpayers, they're also screwing over their investors. Turns out the banking industry is the worst place you could put your money, despite enormous taxpayer bailouts.
Now the bankers are back to take away your financial freedom. They lie and tell you that cryptocurrency isn't safe. They try to make it illegal for you to choose how to invest your hard-earned money. They lie and say cryptocurrency is used by money launderers and criminals. But look at the record. It's the banks themselves that launder hundreds of billions of dollars every year to the biggest criminal operations in the world.
Leaked documents have revealed how some UK banks have helped criminals, money launderers and Russians under sanctions.
American authorities discovered that the Sinaloa cartel moved $881 million through HSBC accounts as bank officials turned a blind eye to the illegality.
The bankers lie and say cryptocurrency is not a real investment. Meanwhile, the smartest CEOs in the world are buying billions and billions of it. The truth is that banks lie about cryptocurrency because it makes them scared. The banks take $9 trillion per year of your hard-earned money, and they are worried that they will finally be exposed. They're scared because crypto means they can no longer control your money, which means they can no longer control you. They are scared because you might actually understand your money and intelligently decide what to do with it. Now is the time for us to come together, fight back, and take control. It's time to educate ourselves, our families, and our communities. Because financial education means financial freedom. We know that cryptocurrencies will help us build the new decentralized financial system of the future. A banking system that is of the people, by the people, and for the people. A banking system where access to finance is a fundamental human right. A banking system that is free and fair and welcomes all humans on this earth. The DeFi revolution is happening. We, the people, can no longer be fooled. We choose to take control of our finances. We choose to take control of our freedom. We choose to take control of our future. Join us, and let's take back our financial freedom forever.